Welcome to the Red White News Show with Dean McMurray, the military medium.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another great episode of the Red, White, and You Show with yours truly, the military medium. Today, folks, I have a really great guest, Mary Benjamin O'Connell. She's a classically trained artist, and she is doing some great work with the fallen hero portraits for Gold Star families. And she is just a very talented individual. Mary, welcome to the Red, White, and You Show.
Thank you for having me, Dean, and thank you for your kind words.
Oh, well, thank you for being a guest today, and I'm sure the weather in North Carolina is a lot warmer than it is here.
Well, we're in the 40s right now. We've had a lot of rain.
Sure. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys stay warm. I know everybody's been, around this time here in February. I know everybody's been challenged with some cooler weather, right? And
yes.
So it's a great time to stay inside and paint.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So Mary, take the listeners through a little bit who you are and a little bit, how did you even get into art?
Well, you said my name, Mary Benejam, and I've been painting since I'm very little. I started with private classes, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. However, when it was time to go to college, my parents totally opposed to going to art school. So I did get a bachelor's in accounting, and then I went to art school. And that's what I knew from the beginning. That's something I really enjoyed.
Right. Did you, now I know your website, it was, you took to art as soon as you were able to hold a pencil. Was there somebody in your family, Mary, that kind of influenced your, that creative spark, if you will, to, explore that?
Indirectly, yes. My grandfather on my father's side, he was an artist. And I had seen his artwork, but I never met him. He passed away at a young age.
Okay.
But I've seen his work, and I think it just came, it just comes with you. Sure. You know what you want.
Sure. Okay, perfect. I guess my question is you've been doing this now for many, many years. And like you said, you kind of a backup degree, right? Now you've also been working professionally as an artist for what, over 19 years, close to 20?
Actually, I would say 30 something years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
So for a long time.
Yes.
How did you even get into, now if nobody has seen Mary's work, you'll have to get out to her website and check it out because, and obviously I know we're going to be talking about the fallen hero portraits, but she has some exquisite portraits of not only brides and just everybody. And do you just capture, Mary, do you just do like stills of animals and people, or is it also all kinds of subjects?
I actually do all kinds of subjects. I do still lives, landscapes, people, and pet portraits.
Okay. And what's your favorite?
I think people's portrait, but I also like very much pets' portrait. They're like little people.
Well, I know that you're a mother to two little fur babies yourself. You have is it Mildred and Edward? Is your
correct?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Your four-legged babies. Beautiful.
Actually, Edward is a licensed therapy dog.
Oh, Oh, okay. Okay.
even though we haven't been able to do a lot of the therapy because of COVID.
Sure.
But he's a lot of fun.
Sure. Sure. And well, and those regardless if somebody has a dog or a cat or some type of pet, they just seem to warm right, warm that area of our heart that we just can't, I guess, ignore. Right? It's just becomes a part of our life that just like a human would. So
Well, it's truly unconditional love.
yeah, right. And I think that's a great way to summarize it, unconditional love. Right? Take us talking. That's a great segue. Talking about unconditional love. Take us into the fallen hero portraits. How did you even? Well, let me even ask before that. Do you have any military background, or is there any military background in your family?
My husband was Navy. He served for 6 years,
Okay.
nuclear. My father-in-law, he was Navy. He was in a submarine, Tusk,
Okay.
USA Tusk. And my son is active Air Force. He's career. He has already 20 years
Oh, wow.
under his belt.
Okay. Wow, that's quite the accomplishment, and not only thank you to your son, but your husband and your father-in-law and everybody else, of course, listening to this that have served or is getting ready to serve or is currently serving. We thank them for their service. So how did you even get into the fallen hero portraits?
That's a really interesting question. Um, I love doing portraits, and as watching TV, I would hear on the news, we lost so many servicemen or women with a bomb in Iraq or Afghanistan and different situations, and it really touched my heart. And then I felt, they're not even posting their names or photographs, and they're serving the country, they're fighting for us and our freedom, and I know there's a lot of important news, but it's important for the family. So that stayed on my mind, and I've always liked to give back to the community. And I thought this would be a good program or a good mission for me to do. So it was the hardest part was actually getting into a group and contact the Gold Star mothers. So I couldn't find a way, and I would talk with people in the military, but they could not give me any information how to pursue this. And then through a friend that her husband is the Thunder Riders, that they go along with the fallen hero with their motorcycles.
Oh, absolutely.
They told me about the Gold Star mothers, and being in North Carolina, I got in touch with the president of the Gold Star mothers. So that's how it all started, but it took months to get this going and to find the right person. So originally my thought was to offer this pro bono to any Gold Star mothers here in North Carolina. And that's how I started doing the paintings. I had a gallery, and they would come on over. Right now, at this time, I don't have a gallery open to the public of my own, but I do show my work some places, but that doesn't really, I'm getting out of the main line here. And so I started doing portraits of some of the fallen here in North Carolina. I had the wonderful opportunity of, feeling and meeting those moms and hearing their stories, how their son was and what did he did, and all wonderful stories. And as time went by, it started spreading out of North Carolina. And I started getting worried because I thought, I do this by myself. I'm self-sponsored. I don't get a sponsor or anything. So I was worried, what happens if this starts going nationwide and I can start getting thousands of requests and all that. But I guess you get as much as you can comply or do. And it's been steady. And now I do get a lot of approach by different Gold Star mothers all over the country. And they contact me through Facebook Messenger or call or text, and then they tell me their situation, and we go from there. Now, I have to say that since I am a one-person show here, I do ask that a few, they're not requisites, but it's like an honor system, that you do not have been gifted a painting of your son already or daughter. That way, if they have already been gifted a portrait, well, let me offer that to somebody that doesn't have a portrait.
Sure. Sure.
Then it's killed in action, but it also can be due to wounds in war or also suicide, PTSD. And
Sure.
that's very, very common. And I deal with that a lot.
Sure. Sure. What a beautiful gift that you're able to give back to those that are, struggling, with the, and just wants to retain the memory of, their loved one, regardless of how they passed, but, their service member. Now, one of the things I really wanted to comment on was these photos. And I'm going to be showing them here on the screen. But now, one of the things that really got me was, obviously you see some of the photographs next to the portrait itself, and how lifelike not only the portrait is, but I almost want to say it's not a portrait. It's like a soul essence, because I can almost like feel the personality of the individual come through the painting. Do you get any of that feedback from your work? Have you heard that from any of the families?
Yes, especially they always talk about the expression in their eyes. And I work hard to capture that and to have as much likeness as I can through a portrait. That way, when they see the portrait, it brings them happy memories and smiles. And the other day I had one mom, they contact, some of them call, some of them message me after when they get the painting. And she said something that I've heard before, but it always touches me. She said, I held that painting and I felt that I was, oops, I'm getting emotional. That
okay.
She felt that she was hugging her child, having it there. So she was hugging the painting. And I thought, I'm so happy I was able to do that for her. There's nothing to replace a child, but if I can give her that little bit of happiness and joy, I've done my job then.
Right. Well, and what a gift you have to be able to convey that through a painting, to express and show not only the personality, and that's what continually puts me in awe of, artists such as yourself, that can express, whatever medium they're working through. And now, do you work mainly with acrylics or oils, or?
The portraits, I do them in oils.
Okay.
And I do work also with watercolors.
Oh, water. Okay.
It's easier for me with the oils because I send it to the parent, and I'm usually do it on a wraparound canvas that does not need to be framed. And it does take a little while to dry, rather than doing a watercolor, because if I do a watercolor, since this painted on paper, it needs to be under glass and framed, and that would generate an additional a cost, not additional, a cost to the parents.
Sure.
And it would be hard for me to have it framed appropriately and send it in the mail. So I decided to go with oils for that reason.
Well, and it probably travels a lot easier as well. I would imagine ships a lot easier, nicer. Yeah. So I think they look absolutely amazing, and anybody I'm sure, or everybody I'm sure, is completely, I picture after portrait after portrait, is just amazing to me. One of the things that really caught me is their, how do I want to say, the I'm like, God, everybody just appears so young in these photos. Like, and I get it. They're not, typically when folks go into the military, they're, between the typical ages of 18 to 19 years of age, right? And,
Yes.
but depending on when they pass, of course, people pass at all kinds of ages. But, a lot of people in the military on average are younger, and, either they're in their 20s, or you start getting in your 30s in the military, you're getting a little bit up there. And so the youthness, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is also, I'm like, God, these are just young people. And, but it's just conveyed. I guess what I'm trying to reiterate is, when you see these photos and these portraits, that it's just like, wow. I guess that summarizes up is this. When I saw it, when I saw Mary's work, I was like, hey, we got to reach out. We need to have Mary on and talk about her work, because especially, donating your time, talent, and materials for these fallen hero portraits to the Gold Star families. But yeah, just completely in capturing that essence. Mary, when so you also, now I know obviously COVID has changed a lot of things for you. Are you providing any classes? I know you have before, but are you doing anything virtual? Do you?
At the present time, I am not teaching. I stopped teaching in March last year.
Okay.
And hopefully I can resume once it's safe.
Sure.
For everybody. There's certain regulations. They recommend ventilation, and I don't have that. I have given my students a plein air class when the weather was really good and we all enjoyed it outdoors.
Sure.
But the ideal is to do it indoors, especially with oils.
Oh,
but I haven't done that. And to what you were saying about how young they are, they look like kids. The majority that I paint, they look to me like kids, and it's hard to see that and to just think about the mother's feeling losing a child that young. So,
well, think about, I guess, on the aspect of, I don't have children that age yet, but, when you think about it as a parent, your children still are your babies, right? I can speak from, experience here. I am almost 51, and, I'm still my mom's baby. And
of course,
you'll always will be. I could be 90.
Of course.
And so I think it's appropriate as well, because that's what they remember, even if they were older, but when everybody else looks on it. So I think that's very appropriate. It's just, but it was just something that's striking. It's just like, look at their youth, look at the personality and life in their eyes, and
full of life.
Yes, absolutely. So Mary, also throughout Raleigh in North Carolina, are they still featuring your work, like the Village Deli and the Stuff and Such and the company she keeps, and all those? Are they still featuring your work, or is a lot of those places shut down because of COVID?
No, they're all open.
Okay.
They're all open, and that it really helps me. Those places I mainly have still lives, but a lot of landscapes, local landscape or places I've traveled. And it's been really a blessing because without classes right now, the income has decreased, obviously, but by selling the paintings, that
Right.
helps me support this mission.
Right. And if you also want to go out to her website, that's Mary, Mary, Benejam, and that's Benejam, correct?
Correct.
.com. So, and we'll have that up. Obviously, it'll be up here, but check it out. And of course, under gallery, it's got everything from fallen heroes to portraits to pet and animal portraits, landscapes, home and buildings, still life and wildlife. And then, check it out. Can they contact you if they see something direct that they would like to purchase, or you to recreate?
It might be available, and if it's sold, I could do something similar, but I would not copy and the same painting, because I think people should have their own original. And I do not do giclées, so I want whoever has it to be their only one enjoying it.
Right. Okay. I was just looking at your the fallen hero portraits. Just very moving again. Now you have done many of these. Can I ask, is there one oh, that's kind of a different one. I love the one just before I was going to ask you the question about Sergeant Adam Ray. And it was a little boy with a fishing hat. And
yes.
And that's completely different. And you were saying this picture was painted at Mother's request.
Correct.
Yeah, that is very cool. How she, I'm sure, remembers him, or,
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. I asked the moms to send me a few of their favorite pictures and ask them to please be clear, so that way I can enlarge it and get some of the details and try to capture that. But, I want them to pick the photo that they want, the photo that talks to them, that means more to them. And some of them want their son or daughter in uniform. Some they want him on regular clothes, or as a child. I've painted
Right.
two that were very young age.
Right. Well, and the other one of Noah Pierce, that's more of a baby picture, it looks like.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's, yeah. Very, very moving, very touching. And again, like you can just, see that one that really, I guess the eyes, so to speak, is Sergeant Cole Wixom. Just a very powerful image as well. They all are. You can't really pick one. But let me ask you, Mary, is that was there one that really stood out amongst the rest? And if there wasn't, that's fine. But I'm just curious, you have done this for so long and done so many. Was there one story or one, one of these that kind of moved you differently maybe than the rest?
I think they all move me, all of them.
Well,
and
absolutely.
When I get the photos, I need the mom's help. As I paint, I send them photos of the painting, and more so when we get to the eyes, because you can have blue eyes, but blue eyes, they can be greenish. They have a tint of golden, they have gray.
Sure.
So I keep on taking pictures until I get the right color, because sometimes you cannot see the right color in a photograph.
Mm.
Now, having said that, I do ask the moms not to share their story until I'm done, because it's very emotional.
Yeah.
And if I get too emotional with the painting, I can't go through it. I have to put it aside and pick it up in a few months.
Mm.
Now, at the beginning, it was pretty tough when I started doing this, because I would they were North Carolina moms, so they would come to me and we would talk, and obviously they would cry, and those I keep very close to my heart because it was a direct contact. The majority that you see on the website are moms that have gracefully contacted me, and we have spoken on the phone, and I always tell them, if you're ever in my area, call so we can meet for a cup of coffee, or if I'm in your area, I would more than happy do the same. And I look forward to that. And actually in June, there's some moms that are getting together here in Greensboro, and I'm going to meet them for the first time, and they all have a portrait. So that's going to be very nice and very emotional at the same time.
Yes. Well, if I could summarize this interview, I would really say, you're helping others heal with each brush stroke, and helping them reconnect, if you will, one more time with the memory of their loved one, and really something to cherish, right? And sometimes speaking more than just to the mothers, because some of these soldiers had children. They have, they're more than just a son or a daughter.
Correct.
There's so many rich, deep stories there. That's just a beautiful, moving thing. Well, Mary, can you do again, if they want to check out more about you, where can they do that?
They can contact me through the website or through Facebook, or text me through my cell number.
Okay. And is that now the on the top of the website, is that your cell number?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So then we'll have the website up. And then on Facebook, is that the same Mary
Benejam. That's it.
Benejam.
Correct.
Sorry, I'm always tripping up to. You just got to say it fast. Benejam. So it's just Mary Benejam, and just look you up that way on Facebook. Are you on any other platforms?
I think those would be mainly. I do have some information on Instagram, but I tend to gravitate more toward Facebook. Okay. That's how I'm mainly approached.
Okay, sure, absolutely. Well, Mary, thank you so much for taking time today to share your story and what you're doing out there. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, keep doing what you're doing. You're certainly, changing others' lives one brush stroke at a time. And I just think it's a really beautiful thing that what you're providing.
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for having me in your program. And I have to tell you that I feel honored. I'm painting our soldiers. Oh. And thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. All right, Mary. Well, you have a great day, and we'll chat with you later.
Okay, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.